thank you all for your support. As you know, except for the first year people, every year we have an audience participation song. It's your turn. This year, you're singing to a famed storyteller, and her name, Gwen Hilary. Gwen Hilary is internationally known, and she will tell an African fable. The song that you, the audience, will sing goes like this. Your turn. Ready?
Nyangara is a python, and he is the doctor for the chief of the village. Now one day, the chief called the men of the village together, and he said to them, "I'm so sick, I'm dying, please, you've got to go and get my doctor, the python who lives up in the mountains." And he said, "Gather a keg of beer, and you carry it so he may sip from it and won't tire before he comes down to help me." And so the men thought they were brave. They thought they were bold enough for this task. And so the men got the keg of beer, and they started up the mountain. And soon enough, they got up to the top of the hill. And inside this cave was Nyangara. And so the words that you're singing say, "Nyangara, come out." And so Nyangara was in the cave, and they stood there boldly, and they began to call him out. We can bring down that huge python. Now, the first one carried the beer, so there were 19 little children lined up to carry the snake. And they started up that hill. They weren't afraid. Their hearts were full of hope, and they felt that they could accomplish this task. You know, children see the world that way. Nothing's impossible. And so they climbed up, and they got right in front of that cave. That cave where Nyangara was inside. And once again, they said the words which mean Nyangara, come out. And they called him. And so Nyangara saved the chief, but the children were the reason.